Nasu back in here, the left arm spinner. 6 men. Now 5 inside the 30-yard circle. Should run quickly over those advertising boards. They do well and run well as well.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, HD. Ireland in huge trouble. This game may have been ended as a contest, you'd have to think, in a blitz that saw Ireland lose 5 wickets for just 16 runs. It went horribly wrong, didn't it, after a wonderful start from Stephen Doherty and Paul Stirling. Now, there's a lot to be played for here for Ireland in the context of this tour. Were they to collapse and be rolled out for 150 or 140 all out, it could start to feel like a very long trip to Sylhet, to Chattogram, to Dhaka. If they show some fight and the depth they have to their batting attack, and particularly George Dockrell's continued evolution as a cricketer, quality batter to watch these days, there'll be hope ahead for the remaining 6 matches after this one.
You've mentioned on numerous occasions, off-air and off-air, the depth that Ireland have in their batting. And you've spoken about the top 4, and then from there on in, anyone can walk in at 5, 6 or 7. I know the modern day game is about flexibility, particularly in the shortest version. But is that not a bit of a danger with this Irish batting lineup in ODI cricket, not really knowing your role?
Yeah, I think I get the question, absolutely, but the difference between a platform of 200 for 1 chasing down a record target and the kind of situation they're in now, completely different ball game. And George Dockrell in particular, his strike rate is elevated in ODI cricket right up towards a run a ball. In recent times in T20 cricket, well up over 130, 140. He's the finisher, he's the 6 hitter. Curtis Camphor's role is a very different one. It's more of an anchor role, a safety blanket, if you will. The players adapt to that within the coach's plans. End of the 22nd, 99 for 5. Paul Stirling, definitely Ireland's best, and with it being a day nighter, just enjoying his dinner and debriefing with Gary Wilson, the assistant coach, former Irish keeper batter. There has at points in Ireland's ODI history been an over-reliance on Paul Stirling. I think there's a much greater depth now to Ireland's batting.
Wants 2. Oh, might get more. We'll only get 2. Oh, well, it's the white one, fellas.
Well, Bangladesh's fielding has been outstanding, and Ebadat Hussain has just torn that all up in a single ball. This is a bit calamitous down at fine leg. Looked like you or I down there, HD. Crawling and rolling and tumbling and just about saving the boundary.
Well, I know Alan Donald won't be happy seeing a fast bowler dive for a cricket ball. He'll be saying this is a long series. We've got 330. You can't get there, leave it.
Joking aside, the catching in particular has been outstanding. That flying leap from Mushfiqur Rahim down the leg side. I don't want to say game-changing. Bangladesh were already ahead of the game, but to get the big fish of Ireland's Paul Stirling certainly has had a huge impact in maybe how comfortable the margin of victory could be from here. And for Ireland, 8.6 runs required per over. They just want to build some respectability now, and good chance for Dockrell and Camphor to do that.
Well, you've covered the flexibility of the batting lineup. Now it's about these two and those to come. At what point do you say, well, they've got too many? There's highlights Paul Sterling and the success that he's had with Ireland. Stephen Donny's just really starting out. At what point do you surrender the match? I know that might sound difficult for our Irish viewers, and say, right, we need some time in the middle here. We need to get accustomed to this surface and these playing conditions and these bowlers.
I think it's a really good question. I know what Gary Wilson would be screaming at me right now if he was listening. He would say, keep going, keep attacking, and that's what Dockrell's tried to do, and he survives. There's been a complete change in the mindset, the philosophy of Irish cricket, not just since the appointment of Heinrich Milan as head coach, but really over the last 4 to 5 years. Went through a bit of a turgid era post-Phil Simmons with John Bracewell, where we were getting blitzed away and there was heavy defeats regularly for Ireland. But now the approach, HD, is very much one of, even in situations like this, keep attacking, keep believing that you can get back into the game, because they know that they can score all the way down to number 10 at 10, 12 and over. That was probably best demonstrated at the T20 World Cup, when I think, although Ireland were reduced to something like 8 for 4, chasing 160, 170, maybe a few more than that against Australia at the J.o.b.a.i.r, Lorcan Tucker kept going. Got it to about 30 odd off 2 overs at one point before he was dismissed, run out at the end. There's a growing belief amongst these young men, they just need more exposure.
Beaton just kept a little bit on the low side into the 23rd, 104 for 5. So 3 one-day internationals here in Sylhet, and then we're off to Chattogram for the 3 T20 internationals, and then that test match in Mirpur. That's from the 4th to the 8th of April. Well, that might bring us back nicely to the question I asked you, in that with it being 3 ODIs, you know, you judged at the end of it by, do we win 2-1? And that's why I asked the question is, do you spend some time in the middle? I like the answer and I love the attitude. But it is tricky, isn't it? Because there's surely the likes of Camphor and Dockrell and Adair, those to come, would think, well, there's no net practice in the world that can give us the type of practice that we require than out here in the middle in a match situation. Yes, let's be busy. Yes, let's look to attack. But there's no need for us to be silly about it.
Yeah, fully agree. And you talk about conditions and how alien they are compared to Ireland. Back in Ireland, before these players got on a plane to Dhaka, I think it was -1 or -2 degrees. There was snow across the country. They were training in an indoor centre where the temperatures wouldn't have been altogether too much higher. They're full-time professionals now. There's no excuses. It's not an excuse culture, but very much it's just a reality, isn't it? We're a small island in the North Atlantic. It's not 30 degrees and swelteringly hot at many points there in Dublin.
That'll be 4. Nice stroke.
Camphor's a bit to prove, I have to say. In the last 6 to 9 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, outside of one innings at the T20 World Cup, he has battled a bit with his form. Got off to a flying start in his international career when he came straight in, having barely even played any cricket in Ireland into the squad to play against England in those first 3 games in the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup Super League in Southampton. Inside edge, I think here, given no. 2 noises in my ear, and Camper has a look at George Dockrell. Hasn't reviewed initially, so maybe no bat involved. He will take a look though.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review for LBW. On-field decision is out. I've checked the front foot, it's a fair delivery. Can I have a look at the front on camera?
Sure.
First, please?
Stand by, yellow.
Rock and roll it for me, please. Your ball passes very close to the bat. Can I have a look at the outer edge if there is any bat involved? Yeah, roll it once again for me. Yep. Yeah, do you have anything from the leg side, the right side screen?
Stand by, I'll check. Just stand by.
Yes, standing by.
Just rebuilding.
Rodney is standby. Waiting for some other angles.
Stand by.
Yep, standing
Hawk
by.
And wipe to Hawk. Hawk 2.
Yes, keep rolling. Roll back. I think the previous one was better.
Stand
If you-
by, we'll get the
yeah.
previous one. You ready? Just give us a second.
Yeah, standing by. Okay. Keep rolling. Yes, I can see there is a gap at the left side screen. So satisfied that the ball has not hit the bat. Can I have ball tracking whenever it is ready, please?
Please, and 3 to the ME, and go.
Original decision is out. Pitching in line, impact in line, wickets hitting. Rod, you will be staying with your original decision of out. You are on screen, make the signal.
So umpire Rod Tucker gets that one spot on. The 2 noises that we heard was probably Curtis Comfort just striking the inside of his left pad, but it misses the inside edge, and Curtis Comfort has been adjudged LBW off the bowling of Nasum. And so he goes for 16, Ireland 109 for 6.
भाई ताकि